I'm John Schalles. I'm a professor of biology at Creighton University. I also am the director of the environmental science program. So this is the Creighton University Coastal and Estuarine Ecology class, and we've been on the road now for about a week and a half. We left Omaha on May 17th. Last week we worked in West Florida on Apalachicola and St. Joseph's Bays, part of the NOAA Research Reserve System. Today we'll be out on the Florida Keys Marine Sanctuary, Lukey Reef, and this is an outdoor classroom. There's no better way to show students ecology than to take them out on a coral reef. There's more biodiversity per acre there than just about any other habitat on the world, and it's a very productive and important marine system, obviously critical to the Keys as a holistic ecosystem.
If you would just keep your eyes open and watch for those guys. Don't try and catch them. They are poisonous. They will sting you. If you don't know what they look like, there's a sticker right here on the helm that you can take a look at one.
While we're out at the reef, we're also going to do a few measurements today. We have a multi-sensor sonde, which will be dropped at each station to record data. It does it on its own. It will be recording salinity, pH, oxygen, depth, turbidity, and probably a few other things. We can simultaneously measure about 10 properties of water, and we'll do that at each of 3 dive sites. We'll also be taking plankton samples to look at the small critters in the water, but our main focus will be the bottom community and the reef system. The reef here is no more than 30 feet deep. That would be our maximum depth. That gives us unlimited bottom time. We don't have to worry. It's a very safe place to dive with students. We don't have to worry about the decompression charts because we never exceed them with these 3 dives. So 3 dives in the water, about 3 hours of water time altogether. Some of the most important work that we're doing is very simple. It's simply photographic documentation of the habitats. We have several underwater cameras. In fact, I think altogether 5 or 6 different devices, and we're able to very easily and readily, by picking the right conditions, take photographic assessments of the conditions of these different marine communities we're studying. They're also learning techniques in water chemistry and water sampling that are useful for the overall research objectives of our center. And then next week, when we get them into the marshes up to their knees in mud, that will be another very useful part of this process. I am seeing new regenerating corals, especially the Montastria annularis, that star coral. It sort of grows, it's a greenish brown cover, and it is coming back here. That stuff was bleached heavily in some events in the 90s and early 2000s, and at least that is good to see some regenerating coral here. Who knows what lies ahead, but you know, of all the areas down here, this is one of the healthiest reefs. Fish, really big rainbows. I think the best thing I saw was that school of young midnight parrotfish.
Those parrots.
I've never seen a school of midnight parrotfish.
That large like that.
Yeah.
I saw that too.
There were some really huge parrotfish, and
oh, I got a sweet, big old school of parrotfish.
Yeah. I would say I saw the blue one, a couple parrotfish that were at least a meter in length. Anybody seen a grouper?
Huh?
Nassau, black grouper? No. Ever see these harlequin bass? They're down on the sand often. Little stranded bass. Schools of blue tang today? Yeah. John Ollie, and he is now a certified diver. He's joined the ranks of the diving community. And Danielle has just received paperwork making her a dive instructor, which is a pretty significant achievement for a student her age, and means good things ahead for her.
So, a few really big green moray eels. We saw a few fowlfish. I saw some big gray angelfish, some queen angelfish. Yeah, I got some big barracuda. Me and Carla swam next to a huge tarpon. It's probably the biggest tarpon we've seen since we've been here.
So this was a really good second dive. We saw some nicely regenerating mountain star coral, a species that's really important to this reef. It's taking quite a hit from bleaching and diseases, but showing some evidence of coming back nicely. Also saw some elkhorn coral. This is now a federally endangered species. There's a lot of effort to try and bring this coral species back, and in a couple places here on Lukey, it's doing very well. It's not back to anything like it was 20, 30 years ago, but at least there's some nice growth, and we got some good photo documentation of that. Some turf algae that overgrows and is considered bad algae, but not a lot. I think there's enough herbivorous fish on this reef to keep it pretty clean enough. Dive number 3. Last dive. Got to make this a good one. Maybe another year before I'm back in the Keys to dive with the class, so got to make this one count. We'll see you topside.
Had a shark swim pretty close next to me, about 10 feet away. That scared me pretty good.
So, favorite fish of the day? What was your favorite fish? Your shark?
Blacktip, without a doubt.
Blacktip.
He's gonna be at dinner later on.
Who saw the Maury?
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
Wow,
too.
that's great. Green or others?
Green, super green.
It was like yellow, black with like yellow spots.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're filtering the water that we collected this morning from the reef, and we're filtering out the chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is an indicator of phytoplankton, and it's a common test to see phytoplankton levels are reflected by the chlorophyll levels. And
This is a YSI multi-instrument sonde. In shorthand, it takes a lot of different parameters.
Secchi transparency, chlorophyll A content, CDOM, nitrate, temperature, conductivity, salinity, dissolved oxygen, pH, turbidity, all that good stuff.
So you
Cool.
you follow the canal all the way around.
Yep.
You'll see these markers here.
Yeah, we know those. Green navs.
Yep,
Where we,
and there's-
instead of going this way, you just make the right and follow down.
Instead of going around here, go up this channel. You go under the bridge, and when
Right.
you go under
that's
the
what we did
bridge,
yesterday morning. Right.
when you go under the bridge, watch this shoal. Get over here to this side.
So there's been a lot of attempts to protect coastal wetlands, both in the U.S. and internationally, and it is really important. We've lost a lot of really good habitat for fisheries and for shoreline protection. When mangroves are lost, that is a loss for the whole coastal system. Miami and Miami Beach used to be primarily a mangrove swamp, and that was all cleared to make that marvelous metropolitan area, but at a loss of natural systems. Fortunately, Florida still has a substantial amount of mangrove, and now they're well protected. Okay, we're out here off Summerlin Key between Summerlin and Big Torch in the lower Keys, and this is a classic example of a small key or mangrove island. Mangroves are tropical vegetation. We think they started as freshwater river riparian plants in the tropics and gradually acquired, in a few cases, tolerance to full seawater salinity. One of the tricks, although here it's going to be a lot simpler, is when you get in close, kind of flutter kick and just be gentle, and you'll see a lot more. You don't want to stir up the bottom sediment. The root systems that are exposed to the water are a fantastic amount of surface area, substrate for growth. And so when we're snorkeling in there, take a look at what's growing on the roots. But you're going to see invertebrates like sponges, possibly some oysters. They're called coon oysters. You may see feather duster worms. The reefs provide a protective filtering buffer from the big open ocean conditions. Back here it's a lot more sheltered and protected. But here's the nursery area for a lot of fish and invertebrates that live out on the reef. And it's a really interesting and interconnected complex. And for the whole system to work, every part of it has to be healthy. Our original plan was to have our student class on the Grand Bay Reserve last week, helping with a large-scale survey. That was work planned 8 months ago. And we were informed about 2 weeks before that period that the work was canceled, that it was not possible to have outside investigators on the site. The research staff there were too preoccupied with preparations for the spill. So it was a disappointment for certain, especially in that we were successful in getting the aerial imagery. However, we do expect to be able to return at points this summer and put students on the ground. And I actually have several students in this course who've expressed interest in being part of that crew should the opportunity prevail. But it's a found opportunity too. You have to be resourceful in field research. Any scientist can tell you that, because conditions don't always cooperate. And so we rearranged our itinerary. It spent longer than we had planned working at Apalachicola Bay near, and got excellent data there. So I feel good about that. I think we were able to help the baseline data effort there. And the plan all along was to come to the Keys because not only is this a research methods course, but we're also teaching the students about coastal ecology. And what better place to bring students to learn about coastal ecology than the reefs, seagrasses, and mangroves of South Florida. And next week we're going to introduce another change. We're going to Sapelo Island on the Georgia coast, known for its estuarine work in salt marsh ecology, and we're going to be concentrated on the habitats in a different place, a different regime there.